So opening up my previous project, we're going to grab a few things from this. So I'm just going to copy the enemy, go to new tab, and paste it in. Create a new tab here. This will be my player. And I'll create a new tab once more for timer. Then we'll go into the player, copy, paste, go into the timer, copy, paste. So now we have access to the enemy, the player, and the timer so that we can use them in our project. We also are going to probably need access to our circle intersect. So we'll go and grab that. Let's go into the main project here. So we have our states. So notice, so we have setup and draw. Then we have our different state methods there. And then what I'm going to have a section down here. I'll just call it utilities. And then we'll paste in our circle intersect for it. So we have access to that as we need it. So what I want to do is to create a countdown timer now. So we'll create a new instance of our timer class and call it countdown timer. And then we need to store how much time is remaining. So those two values, when we add them to our project, countdown timer will be a new timer, and we'll pass in 1000 milliseconds, so it just does counts on the second. We must set our time remaining equal to 5. We'll worry about enemy and player and dealing with those, but first we want to just do our countdown timer here. So to add our timer into the game, this is where we go into our game function. So let's have it, if I click the button, I win. But if the timer runs out, I lose. So what we'll first do is we're going to display that text, fill, and I'm going to just set this to, we have the kind of the blue-gray background. I'm just going to go for a dark purple for my text color. And I'm just separating out the logic here, put a comment so that I know what I'm working on with it. So text align with this, depending on where we put it on screen. If I put it front and center on the screen, we'll just put it in the center. If I were to put it, say, in the left corner or right corner and wanted to do it that way, kind of like where I put the game state, then we would change our text alignment to left or right. But right now I'm just going to put it in, actually we'll just do right. We haven't done that before. So we'll put it to the right. And now what we want to do is go text, and the text we want to do is quote time colon space close quotes. So we're showing that, and then we also want to go time remaining. So that's now going to put the word time colon a space and then however many seconds are remaining. Now one thing about it is if you use double-digit time and you align it like this, it kind of looks weird when the whole word time shifts over when you go from a time of, like 10 seconds to 9 because it's 2 characters versus 1. So you either have to change your number format so it actually shows your time remaining as 09, which, you know, there are ways to do that. And then we'll put this 50 pixels from the right and 100 pixels down. Oh, we didn't do a size on it. Text size on this, we'll do it big. We'll say 36. So might need to put it further. No, that should work. Okay. So now what we need to do is put in our counting logic. So if our countdown timer is complete, so if countdown timer complete is true, which we can shorten that, and if we're just asking, you know, true and false things like we do with our button activate, we don't even have to put the double equal sign true. We can just put it as is and be done. So now close out that if. So what we now want to do is go time remaining minus minus. Then we tell the timer to start again. And then say if time remaining is equal to 0, we'll set our state equal to lose. So if I press the button in time, I win the game. If I don't press the button in time, I lose. So we've now worked on a countdown timer that's going to work on counting. So let's run this and see what happens. So click to play, game state is start, and whoops, you can see my text. Oh, I ran out of time and lost. I don't want X at 50, I want it to be with minus 50, so it's all the way at the right side. So let's try again. So now we can see 4, 3, 2, 1, done. Now if we play again, and notice I click the button and it starts out at 4 right away. So what we want is, this is, you know, it's a little bit tricky when we start out playing with timers here and countdown timers. What we need to do is, when we change the state to game, that's when we tell the timer to start. So now if I do that, 4, 3, 2, 1, gone. Now let's try and play again. Oh, look at my time. That's a problem. I won. Oh, great. Oh, the time is still going negative, so now I technically can't ever lose. It's not bad, but what we probably need to handle on this is we need to put into it, you know, a reset. So anytime we go to play the game again, we need to reset all of our game variables. So instead of changing the game state to game here, what we're going to do is to make a new function, call it reset game. So one of the things that's going to happen inside a reset game is we will go state is equal to game. We also need to go time remaining is now equal to 5. So instead of inside win and lose calling state equals game, we just go reset game. Now I could put those two lines of code in here and here, but what we're going to run into is we need to reset the player, we need to reset the enemy, we need to reset the enemies when we have multiple enemies. So we might as well just separate that out now. And hopefully one of the key lessons that you're noticing today as we go through this is we're breaking lines of code into, this is a reset logic. So instead of having it occur here and occur here, we've now isolated it into one place. So that means as we have to reset more and more things, we know exactly where to look in the code to do that. So we don't have to go, oh yeah, I need to do it here, and I need to do it here. That gets hard to keep track of. It's the same way that we define our variables once inside our setup. If we need to reset any of those variables, like our time remaining, well then we do that. When you need to reset the state of our enemies, then we'll be able to do that. So now, play, or we'll let it run out. We lost. Play again, and now we... Okay, so we also notice this time it started at 4 again. So just like when we set game state there, we need to call our countdown timer. And is the D cap? No, D is not capitalized. I didn't think so. Countdown timer. We'll call it start method. Let's try again. 4, 3, 2, 1. Perfect. Now, I have a number here, and I have that number here. If I decide I want to change how long my timer goes, maybe after I reset the game each time I play, I want to make the time a little bit shorter, I would probably want to store my max time in a variable, and then I can adjust that value. Also, when you're testing your game, you often want to shrink that value down so I don't have to count to 5. Maybe I go to 3 or something. So we make it a little bit shorter as we go through it. But we now are able to go between our different states. So now I play again, 4, 3, now I win, play again, and now we see. So we're able to go between our states. We have our countdown timer going, so now we can start actually building out the actual game as it migrates through our different states.